This is LeBron James being the most confused man on the planet, and for good reason. With seconds left, his teammate J.R. Smith decides to run out the clock in the NBA Finals. Now, an innocent bystander may believe that this man is the worst player to ever play in the NBA, but this can't be true, because he is a former sixth man and a two-time NBA champion. So that brings a question for today. Who is the worst player in the NBA? Now, before we answer a question of this magnitude, let's see what the internet has to say first. Looks like Sports Not has Cherokee Park as the worst NBA player. Who the fuck is that? Now, I kid you not, I searched up Cherokee Park and a legit Park showed up. Oh my. Hold on, it seems like Cherokee had a long career. He couldn't be that bad. Yep, never mind. Now you see, Cherokee is a better NBA player than I'll ever be. Before a former lottery round draft pick to average 4 points, 3 rebounds, and half an assist? How you average half an assist while shooting 47%? Actually, that's not that bad. Holy shit, 63% from the line. Let's get to the next player. Bleacher Report doesn't even have a list. They just straight up say it. Jack Haley is the NBA's worst player of all time. Now again, I kid you not, I searched up Jack Haley and a fucking actor popped up. Wicked. You know when you have to search up a man's name and NBA, they're fucking ass. I think we cut this man Jack some slack. Wait, that kind of rhymed. Hold on, who the fuck? Because he does have an NBA championship. And even though he didn't play, he could have been the emotional support for the Bulls team. He did have a career total of like 1,000 points, 900 rebounds, and 48 blocks in 9 seasons. That's the same amount of stats that Bob McAdoo had in only 74 games. Now let's get off the internet for a while and let's attack this with science. I'm going to be using these 3 metrics to determine who are the 3 worst NBA players, ranking from third to worst, if you get what I'm saying. Number 3, true shooting percentage. Now I'm not going to include anything before 85 because those guys couldn't dribble. The worst true shooting in NBA history goes to no other than Chris Dudley. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell, it's the dude who got boomed on by Shaq. He had a true shooting percentage of 42.9%. Let me put that in perspective. Stephen Curry has a career 3-point percentage of 42.8%. That means Curry's more likely to make a 3 than this man to make a basket. And it doesn't help that he only averaged 4 points a game. I'm cutting a break, even though Dudley had no bag and he was simply due to water. He did have a spot on the team and he had a long career. Number 2, PER. Now, this is one of my favorite statistics. It shows how efficient a player is on both sides of the ball. And the lowest man has a 7. Now, shout out to Scalabrini and Frank Ntilikina for being the 3rd and 4th worst on this list. Both of them respectively having a 7.7. But let's focus on number 7, Jason Collins. Now imagine a 7-foot man who averages 20 minutes a game for a career and played 14 seasons. If you were to write down their stats, what were you thinking? Maybe 10 points, 10 rebounds, maybe a generous 8 and 8. This man averaged 4 rebounds and 4 points. And mind you, he shot 40% from the field. I'm not going to speak too much on Jason Collins, but let's go on to the next person. Before we reveal who the worst NBA player is, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I mean, you're already here. What are we doing? Come on. What are we doing? Without further ado, number 1, plus minus. Now this stat means everything to me. This is my bread and butter stat. If anyone wants to debate with me, I always bring up plus minus, even in the current era. This stat basically reflects how the team does while you're on the court. For example, if I was on the Warriors and we outscored them by 30 points while I'm on the floor, I'll have a PER of 30 points. Now vice versa, if I lost by 15 the next game, then my plus minus goes down to 15. I just spit everywhere. Then my plus minus goes down to 15. And the worst player in the NBA history with the lowest plus minus is Shareef Abdul-Rahim. Now you're probably like, what? This man was an all-star. He averaged almost 20 points a game and he was so solid. No way he could be the worst. And this is what I want people to understand. Shareef Abdul-Rahim had a minus 2,904 plus minus. That means while he was on the court, his team was getting outscored by 2,904 points, the most in NBA history. We could play around saying the Jacks and the Cherokees of the world, who just had bad stats. But what those stats don't tell you is what they actually contributed to the team. Because if you're on the team doing good, but the team is not winning, are you really a good player? And now with all of that information, I leave you with the question, who is the worst NBA player of all time?